In 2007, marine biologists conducted an experiment that should have been impossible. They placed a cuttlefish on a checkerboard pattern and watched it perfectly match the colors: black, white, and shades of gray. Then they tested the cuttlefish's eyes. It was completely colorblind. It had only one type of color receptor. It shouldn't be able to see color at all, let alone match it perfectly. Humans have 3 types of color receptors: red, green, and blue. Most mammals have 2. Birds have 4, but cuttlefish? Just 1. By every rule of vision science, this creature should see the world in black and white. Yet it can camouflage itself to match any color in its environment in less than a second. For 15 years, this was biology's most frustrating paradox. Then in 2023, scientists finally cracked the code. What they discovered wasn't just about cuttlefish, it revealed a completely new way of seeing that no one knew was possible. And it's forcing us to rewrite our understanding of how vision works. Stay until the end to discover how this colorblind camouflage system is being copied by the military, and why it might make human soldiers invisible within 10 years. To understand why cuttlefish camouflage is impossible, you need to understand how color vision works. Humans see color because we have 3 types of cone cells in our eyes. Each type responds to different wavelengths of light: short, blue; medium, green; and long, red. Our brain compares the signals from these 3 cone types and constructs the full spectrum of colors we perceive. Cuttlefish have only one type of photoreceptor. They're missing the biological hardware for color vision. It's like trying to display a full-color photograph on a black and white monitor. The information simply isn't there. Yet cuttlefish can match yellow, red, brown, green, and purple backgrounds with perfect accuracy. The breakthrough came when researchers at the University of Cambridge studied the cuttlefish's pupil. Unlike humans who have circular pupils, cuttlefish have W-shaped pupils. Bizarre, irregular openings that look like a mistake of evolution. But this mistake is actually genius. The W shape creates something called chromatic aberration, the same optical defect that makes cheap cameras produce blurry, rainbow-edged images. Different wavelengths of light bend at slightly different angles as they pass through the pupil. Blue light focuses in front of the retina. Red light focuses behind it. The cuttlefish's brain can detect which wavelengths are in focus and which are blurry. By rapidly adjusting the focus of its lens and comparing which wavelengths are sharp versus blurry, the cuttlefish extracts spectral information, essentially color data, without actually having color receptors. It's like determining the color of a light by measuring how much you have to adjust your camera focus to make it sharp. The W-shaped pupil maximizes this chromatic aberration effect, turning a visual defect into a feature. This is completely unprecedented in biology. Every other animal that sees color does it through multiple photoreceptor types. Cuttlefish invented a workaround that uses physics instead of biology. They're exploiting an optical imperfection to extract information that their eyes weren't designed to detect. But detecting color is only half the problem. The cuttlefish also needs to reproduce that color on its skin. And this is where the system becomes truly extraordinary. Cuttlefish skin contains 3 layers of specialized cells: chromatophores, iridophores, and leucophores. Together, they function like a biological high-definition display. Chromatophores are the top layer, pigment-filled sacs surrounded by muscle fibers. When the muscles contract, the sac expands, spreading pigment across a larger area. When the muscles relax, the sac shrinks, concentrating the pigment. Each chromatophore is controlled by up to 25 individual muscle fibers, all receiving direct commands from the brain. A single cuttlefish has approximately 10 million chromatophores. That's 10 million living pixels, each capable of changing size 200 times per second. The entire skin can transform in 200 to 300 milliseconds, 3 times faster than a human eye blink. This isn't just camouflage, it's real-time video rendering on biological tissue. To put this in perspective, a high-end gaming monitor refreshes at 240 Hz, 240 times per second. Cuttlefish chromatophores can change at 200 Hz each one, simultaneously. The computational power required to coordinate 10 million pixels changing 200 times per second would require a supercomputer. The cuttlefish does it with a brain the size of a walnut. But chromatophores only produce yellows, reds, and browns. To create the full spectrum, cuttlefish use 2 additional layers. Below the chromatophores are iridophores, reflective cells containing stacks of thin plates that act like microscopic mirrors. By adjusting the spacing between these plates, iridophores can reflect specific wavelengths, blues, greens, and iridescent colors. The bottom layer contains leucophores, white cells that scatter all wavelengths of light equally. They function as a diffuse reflector, brightening colors and creating pastels. By combining these 3 layers, pigment, reflection, and diffusion, cuttlefish can reproduce virtually any color and pattern in their environment. The system is so sophisticated that cuttlefish can match not just color, but also texture. They can raise papillae, small bumps on their skin, to mimic the 3-dimensional texture of coral or rocks. They're not just changing color, they're sculpting their body surface in real time to match their surroundings. Here's where the system becomes truly alien. Cuttlefish chromatophores aren't controlled by hormones like most animal color changes. They're controlled directly by neurons. Each chromatophore has dedicated nerve fibers connecting it to the brain. This means color changes are as fast as nerve signals, essentially instantaneous. Compare this to a chameleon, which takes 20 seconds to change color using hormonal signals. Or an octopus, which takes 1 to 2 seconds using a similar system to cuttlefish, but with fewer chromatophores. The cuttlefish system is 3 to 7 times faster than its closest competitor. This speed suggests the camouflage isn't just for hiding, it's for communication and hunting. But here's the most mind-bending discovery. Cuttlefish don't analyze every detail of their environment and reproduce it pixel by pixel. Instead, they have a library of approximately 13 pre-programmed patterns stored in their brain. When they see an environment, they select the closest pattern match and display it. These patterns have names: uniform, model, and disruptive. Uniform is for sandy, featureless backgrounds. Model is for rocky, medium complexity environments. Disruptive is for high contrast backgrounds like coral reefs. Within each category are variations: light model, dense model, strong disruptive, and so on. The cuttlefish visual system processes the environment in less than 200 milliseconds. It identifies the spatial frequency, how quickly light and dark areas alternate, and the contrast level. Based on these 2 variables, it selects the appropriate pattern from its library and activates the corresponding chromatophore groups. This is computational genius. Instead of trying to reproduce every detail, which would require impossible processing power, the cuttlefish uses pattern matching, the same principle modern AI uses for image recognition. It's not perfect camouflage, it's good enough camouflage achieved at incredible speed. And for survival, speed matters more than perfection. So if cuttlefish have perfect camouflage, why do they still get eaten? Because their main predators, dolphins, sharks, and seals, don't hunt by sight alone. Dolphins use echolocation, sharks use electroreception, seals use whiskers that detect water movement. Visual camouflage is useless against these senses. This reveals a crucial truth. Cuttlefish camouflage evolved to hide from other fish, not from mammals. Fish rely primarily on vision. Marine mammals use multisensory hunting. The cuttlefish's billion-dollar camouflage system is optimized for the wrong threat in modern oceans. But camouflage isn't the only function of this system. Male cuttlefish use rapid color changes for communication during mating season. They can display different patterns on different sides of their body simultaneously, showing aggressive patterns to rival males on one side, while showing courtship patterns to females on the other side. This is called split body patterning, and it requires independent neural control of left and right skin regions. It's like having 2 separate graphics processors running different displays at the same time. Some males even display female patterns on one side to sneak past larger males while approaching actual females, a deception tactic called female mimicry. Cuttlefish also use their color-changing ability for hunting. When stalking prey, they display moving wave patterns across their skin, dark bands that ripple from head to tentacles. These patterns hypnotize small fish and crustaceans, essentially freezing them in confusion long enough for the cuttlefish to strike. The wave patterns move at specific frequencies, 2 to 3 Hz, that match the flicker fusion rate of fish vision. This creates a strobe effect that disrupts the prey's motion detection system. It's not camouflage, it's active sensory disruption. The same biological system that hides the cuttlefish can also weaponize visual confusion. In 2021, DARPA, the US military's Advanced Research Division, launched Project Cephalopod, a program to develop adaptive camouflage based on cuttlefish skin. The goal: create uniforms that can change color and pattern in real time to match any environment. The technology is called active camouflage, and it's closer to reality than you might think. Researchers at the University of Houston have created flexible displays using thermochromic inks, materials that change color when heated. By embedding these inks in fabric with a grid of microheaters, they've produced textiles that can shift between patterns in 2 to 3 seconds. It's not as fast as cuttlefish, but it's functional. The main obstacle is power. Cuttlefish chromatophores are controlled by muscles that require almost no energy to maintain a pattern. They only consume energy when changing. Current electronic camouflage requires constant power to maintain any pattern. A soldier wearing active camouflage would need to carry 20 pounds of batteries for 8 hours of operation. The second challenge is durability. Cuttlefish skin can self-repair. Electronic displays cannot. A single bullet hole or tear would disable an entire section of active camouflage. Researchers are now studying how cuttlefish heal their chromatophores after injury, hoping to develop self-repairing materials. But DARPA's timeline is aggressive. Functional active camouflage uniforms by 2033. Not perfect cuttlefish-level camouflage, but good enough pattern matching that can shift between woodland, desert, and urban environments. The cuttlefish solved this problem 500 million years ago. We're just now catching up. The cuttlefish camouflage paradox has forced scientists to completely rethink how vision works. We now know that color perception doesn't require multiple photoreceptor types. It can be achieved through optical physics. We've discovered that biological displays can match electronic performance. We've learned that pattern libraries can be more efficient than pixel-perfect reproduction. But the deeper lesson is about evolutionary problem solving. When cuttlefish lost color vision, probably due to the energetic cost of maintaining multiple photoreceptor types, they didn't give up camouflage. They invented a completely new solution using chromatic aberration. Evolution doesn't just optimize existing systems, it can invent entirely new approaches when constraints demand it. This discovery is already influencing human technology. Researchers are developing visual prosthetics for colorblind people that use chromatic aberration to extract color information. Camera systems that use pupil shape to enhance spectral sensitivity. Display technologies that use layered cells instead of pixels. The cuttlefish showed us that biological limitations can become advantages if you redesign the system. But cuttlefish aren't the only creatures with impossible vision systems. There's an animal that can see ultraviolet light, polarized light, and circular polarized light simultaneously, a type of vision so advanced that we don't even have cameras that can replicate it, and it uses this supervision to deliver the fastest punch in the animal kingdom. If you want to discover the mantis shrimp's reality-breaking abilities, watch this video next.